Hello my fellow New Yorkers, and thank you for taking the time to check out my Second Amendment video here regarding the non-recognition of the Second Amendment in Westchester and other counties in New York State. Before I proceed, I'd like to digress to the part where Judge Susan CACACE'S revoked Westchester County residents' pistol permit back in November of 2007. The former permit holder shall be referred to heretofore as Braveheart. My name, for those viewing my series for the first time, is Sebastiano Cornelio. Prior to the hearing with Judge Susan CACACE, Braveheart had to appear several times before Judge Susan CACACE to postpone the hearing because of the pending criminal case. On many occasions, he spoke with the former Assistant County Attorney assigned to this matter, George Mancuso. Braveheart asked what this was all about, and Mr. Mancuso assured him that this was just a matter of formality, that anyone who was arrested in Westchester County had to go through these motions. And Mr. Mancuso went on to say that the county couldn't revoke his permit unless he was convicted of a felony charge. Okay, and Braveheart was potentially facing a misdemeanor at most. Now bear in mind that he was facing an harassment charge for sending nude photos of an ex to her co-workers. However, there were no kinds of threats of any kind implied or expressed, nor were there any kinds of physical or mental abuse. Needless to say, firearms were never brought up in the term of their relationship, and consequently, Braveheart never retained counsel. Why would he? It would have been a waste of money, according to Mr. Mancuso. On the day of the hearing, it was Mr. Mancuso, Judge Susan CACACE, her secretary, Al Niclario, and Braveheart, a stenographer, and a female court officer. Judge Susan CACACE was almost 30 minutes late to that hearing, never made an apology for her tardiness. Walked right in, sat on the bench, off we went. The hearing proceeded, and Judge Susan CACACE first addressed Mr. Mancuso, who gave testimony, and this is when his true colors came out. And he began his verbal assault on Braveheart, claiming he was vindictive, incapable of making proper decisions, and not having the proper character to possess a pistol permit, and that God only knows what he was capable of doing. Once the assault began, Al Niclario, gentleman that he was, got up and left the room. That man was a true gentleman in my dealing with him one-on-one. Then Judge Susan CACACE focused on Braveheart. And while doing so, she had a grin that was from ear to ear and was about to bust out and laugh, and she had to hide her face behind her coffee mug, take a sip, and recompose herself. Okay, and not exactly the proper conduct demeanor of a judge, in my opinion, and of that who know of this matter. She asked Braveheart some basic questions, then went on to ask if he exercised poor judgment in sending out those photos. Had he said yes, Braveheart felt Judge Susan CACACE was going to turn it against him. Had he said no, same thing. It was going to be a lose-lose situation. Basically, she was setting him up, in our opinion. Okay? At this point in time, Braveheart knew he was in serious trouble because apparently this was more than just a formality. Braveheart's reply was, what he did was not nice. Okay? We are all humans, but at any point was anyone's safety in jeopardy. Never was anyone's safety in jeopardy at any point in time. Everyone is guilty of doing something that is not nice. It's just human nature. This was not a serious matter in our opinion. It was just, it was a silly mistake, but we make mistakes. But once again, we're human. Never once did anyone ask what the alleged victim, who works for the LA Sheriff's Department as a secretary, did to Braveheart to send those photos. Maybe if they did know the severity of what she did, they would have looked at him in a different light. Being this is the worst thing Braveheart has ever done in his entire life, I don't think he's doing all that bad personally. Never once did Judge Susan CACACE bring to light all the good things he did and accomplished over the years, nor did she answer one single question he asked of her. It was a vicious, brutal assault on this poor gentleman. 3 days later, Braveheart got a letter from Judge Susan CACACE revoking, not suspending, revoking for life his pistol permit. In 3 days, the decision was rendered. She claimed he did not have the proper character and judgment to possess a pistol permit, and that the county has an obligation to protect its citizens from such people. Went on to say he had no respect for the law, and his actions in court demonstrated this. Braveheart purchased the court transcript for $100, and nowhere does she mention this. Can you imagine? Nowhere was it mentioned in the court transcript. Obviously, he was guilty until proven innocent. Communism? Not far. Subsequently, Braveheart spent over $4,000 on an attorney, $4,000 to re-argue the case that she flat out refused to. I've got a pamphlet from the Commission on Judicial Conduct, and it states the types of complaints that may be investigated by the Commission include improper demeanor, conflicts of interest, intoxication, bias, prejudice, favoritism, corruption and other misconducts on or off the bench. Physical and mental disability may also be investigated. Braveheart went on to write Judge Susan CACACE'S maybe 3 times, 2-3 times, seeking answers and clarification on this whole matter. Was mind-boggling to him. Never did she answer one single letter, let alone one question. Instead, she had a public safety officer contact his home, asking why he was writing these letters. The public safety officer was very polite and courteous and said it was not illegal to write her or to continue writing her in the future. Judge Susan CACACE'S couldn't reply to Braveheart directly. After all, his telephone numbers were listed in all 2-3 letters that he sent. Was he asking that much of her? Is this the proper conduct of a judge? Really? Judge Susan CACACE'S rendered her decision before the criminal case was settled, and 2 months later, the Honorable Judge Ponzini dismissed that alleged charge of harassment that Braveheart was facing. Once again, all that is relevant in that a pistol permit holder has no felony convictions, no domestic misdemeanor convictions, or been involuntarily held against his or her will in a mental institution. All that is relevant. However, New York State has that famous clause again, quote unquote, arbitrary discretion as to who and who cannot hold a pistol permit. And you go to Court of Appeals, you're going to lose, my friends, because that arbitrary discretion thing is on their side. As you can see, the punishment certainly did not fit a crime Braveheart was not convicted of. His permit should never have been revoked, let alone suspended. By the way, the former Assistant County Attorney George Mancuso no longer works for the county. This is exactly why arbitrary discretion must be removed from New York State law. Honorable judges are in place to make sure our rights, including not limited to the Second Amendment, are not violated whether they like them or not. They are there to be the safeguardians of the Constitution, to protect our rights, mine, yours, including the Second Amendment, whether they like it or not. I've got only a max of 10 minutes here on YouTube, unfortunately. I just want to say there is absolutely, these series are exclusively for informative purposes only. There's absolutely no intention to annoy, harass, or otherwise bother anyone mentioned in these series I'm having here. I've only got, like I said, a max of 10 minutes on YouTube. Thank you for viewing this video, and please check in for the rest of this series in the coming days and weeks. Stay informed as to what is going on politically, and let's vote those who do not recognize the Second Amendment out of office. There are plenty of people to replace them with those that do support the Second Amendment and the Constitution. Strength in numbers, my friends. Don't forget this. Please support the NRA, and God bless America and the protectors of our Constitution. Thank you again for watching this video.